Hello everyone, in this video I'll be ranking the best Find Familiar in Baldur's Gate 3 on a tier list. Now, there's 12 different Find Familiars, and some of them are exclusive to the Warlock, some are exclusive if you find the cheeky Quasit, some are Scratch, some are Boo, and I'll be going over all of these in this video. So, with this, we'll start off with just the regular old cat. So, the cat is an interesting one because it has more health than some of them. It has 2 health points instead of 1. So, the whole point of the cat is to get into small areas. Now, the cat is probably the cutest Find Familiar other than Scratch, so it has points for cuteness, but what it does is it meows. So whenever you meow, it's basically like a minor illusion. So that's really about it. You can use it to scout ahead and then meow to pull enemies closer to it. So it has that benefit, but if you have the cantrip Minor Illusion, you're pretty much doing the same thing as that, so it may not be something that you find super useful, but it is still somewhat useful. I guess I'll show you what the Minor Illusion does there. So the Minor Illusion makes that illusion cat, and it'll group enemies there, and then also your, I guess, grub went there, but basically whenever you use Minor Illusion, it's just summoning in a cat for 1 second there. The cat's cute, but its attack only does 2 damage, so it's not very effective in terms of its damage output. But again, it is a cute Find Familiar, so I have to say that for its scouting purposes, getting into small areas, and just overall adorability, I would put it in the A tier, just because it does have some usefulness early game when you might not be able to sneak into small areas. And yeah, you can also have your druids turn into a cat, so kind of a similar thought there. But I guess next we'll show you another Find Familiar with the crab. Now, the crab can maim targets, but its maim isn't as good as other targets' maim, so here's the crab here. It looks like a jolly little fellow. Got a big pincher there, but basically it does a maiming pinch, which does 2 to 5 damage, so 1 slashing plus 1 to 4 piercing, and possibly inflicts pinched. So whenever it pinches a target, it only has a really low chance there, 5% chance. That's not very high. Whenever it's pinched, it basically takes 2 piercing damage at the start of the turn, and movement speed is reduced by 3 meters. So that is kind of nice. That's a lot of blood for that, jeez. But the crab is, like, it's okay for a Find Familiar. Like, you can see there, Shadowheart's taking multiple damage sources from it, so its damage is alright. It's just not super effective, I would say, compared to some of the others. I mean, I could still probably put it in the B tier. The cat, again, is just useful for grouping enemies together, and you can make the cat run off and then drop a fireball there, but you're better off... Actually, I might move the cat down. You're probably better off using Minor Illusion so you don't hurt the cat. But yeah, next we got ourselves the frog. So summoning in the frog here, it has the Bufo toxin. Now, the frog is kind of funky looking here. It's got huge eyes. It's freaky, but... yeah, it has the Bufo toxins. Deals 1 damage and possibly imposes disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So this is nice if you want to drop a fireball on a target. You can give them a dexterity saving throw disadvantage there. But the frog is kind of a weaker one. It only has 1 health. Not that the extra 1 health would matter much, but yeah, this one, it just draws that poison on target. So I'll put it in the C tier because, well, it is good. I feel like there is some better ones here. So getting back into things, we will go with a short rest to refresh our familiars, and then we can drop a rat on the ground. So here is the rat, conjured rat. So it has an attack here that does 1 damage and possibly infects it. 5% chance, 10% chance. We'll try it on Shadowheart. It's not a very high percent chance of it happening, and it missed there. So we'll go again. And now Shadowheart's infected. So basically what this does is disadvantage on Constitution saving throws, and Constitution is reduced by 1. So that's not terrible. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit better than the frog. So giving Constitution saving throw disadvantage is not a bad thing. I feel like Dexterity is more common, but yeah, I'd probably put it roughly where the frog goes. So right around there. They can be interchanged. They're both C tier, not as good as some of the others that we have on this list, because I'm saving the good ones for the end here. We got much better ones. So next, I guess we'll show off I'll pull out the Find Familiar Raven quote, which is a reference to Edgar Allan Poe. I think that's a cool little reference, but this one here is much better than the previous because, 1, it flies, so it's an excellent scout if you need it to fly ahead, and it also has decent perception, so you can pick up on traps and things like that. So it does have that benefit. What is also nice is it has just a regular beak attack, but it also has a special attack with Ren Vision, dealing 1 damage but blinding the target. So inflicting blind is really nice because that gives disadvantage on attack rolls, and attacks against it will have advantage. So the bird is probably the best Find Familiar that you can choose from these here. I use the bird often with Find Familiar. All of them are nice. Find Familiar is probably like an S tier level 1 spell because whenever you do use them, they take a hit for your team. So being able to resist one attack with a level 1 spell slot is pretty nice. They'll die in one hit, but they have a low armor class, so they attract hits to the target. And also that blind is really nice. So I would have to say that the Raven goes in the S tier. This is a solid one. One, for its flying ability, that's really nice. But two, it also has blindness, can apply blindness. So disadvantage on attack rolls is one of the best things you can apply because it means you're much less likely to get hit. So it has some benefit there. I guess next we'll summon in. There's two versions of the Quasit, but I'll show you. I'll show you the Imp first. So the Imp's a little bit better. So I'll summon in the Imp here, and it flies around as well. It's got 10 health points. It's pretty ugly, but that's what the Imp looks like. He's got a little beard going on. So it flies, but it also has a few attacks. It has the claw attack, which is 4 to 7 damage, and it can attack twice if you have level 5 Warlock Pact of the Chain. It also has invisibility, so you can turn it invisible, which is nice. So it can sneak up on enemies. It also has the Sting, which does 1d4 plus 3 piercing, plus an additional 1 to 6 poison conditional. So they have to do a save against the poison, but that's a nice little bonus. And the ability to turn invisible and fly around is quite nice, so I'd have to say the Imp is a little bit better than some of the others on here. However, you have to play as a Warlock Pack of the Chain level 3 to get this, so it does take a little bit further. Obviously, that is taken into consideration, but I'm still going to put it probably in the S tier. I'll set it in the A tier for now, and I'll reevaluate, because I feel like there's some others that are a little bit better. I don't want to overstack the S tier with options. The reason that the Crow, or the Raven, is in the S tier is because all the other options aren't as good. So whenever I short rest here and show you the rest of the other ones here, I'll summon in Le Spider. The Spider's got the most health out of all the Find Familiars with 6 health. However, it's not as good as like the Beastmaster, which gets a Spider, or as good as the Druid Spider. So it gets the poison bite there, 2 to 5 damage. 1 piercing, 1d4 poison conditional, so it has to make a save against the poison damage. Not a lot of damage, but it's got a bit more health. It's probably still going to get one shot, because think about how many times you get hit for more than 6 damage. So with that, early game it's not bad, but I'm still going to put it probably lowest of the B tier. Just a little bit extra health is nice, and it has a bit further damage, but yeah, it's not as strong as like the Spider that you can get from the Beastmaster. So Minsk here is a Beastmaster at the moment, and he has his Ranger's Companion. The Spider's better. I've also done a tier list of the best Ranger Companion, so you can check that out as well. But yeah, that is that. Next, we're getting into some of the better ones. So I guess I'll do Scratch last, because you can't actually summon in Scratch at camp. He's running around. He's over there playing with the owlbear cub. But Boo, we can Find Familiar Boo, and Boo is really great for a Find Familiar because he's a little hamster. Every single character in this game has dialogue for throwing Boo, so you can pick Boo up and throw Boo, and Boo will blind targets. So Boo also has 20 health. You can play as Boo there. He does bite for 7 to 13 damage, which is actually pretty good. It's a 2d4 plus 5 piercing, so not bad piercing damage overall. Boo's a little cutie too, just look at him there. Pretty big little hamster. Pretty big little giant dwarf space hamster. But the best part about it is whenever you go, you can pick up Boo and you can throw Boo. So I'll show you there. You just throw on Halson there. It didn't do the dialogue because it's not an enemy, but normally when you throw Boo, they'll be like, "Go for the eyes, Boo!" And Asterion will be like, "Go for the throat!" It's pretty funny. You can also pick Boo up there. Boo is great. I would have to say that Boo is also an S tier choice. Just for 20 health, he can blind on throw, and it's just fun to play with Boo, so I definitely recommend it. Also, his attack has more damage than some of the others here, so that's taken into consideration as well. Now, into the other option here we have, so you can see here the Pact of the Chain gives you both the Imp and the Quasit. You can choose one of the prior ones, but I wouldn't recommend it really. because the Quasit's a little bit better. So I'll summon in the Quasit here. And this is not the cheeky Quasit, this is just the Quasit with 7 health. So what the Quasit can do is it has a claw attack, but it also has invisibility too. And then the biggest benefit of the Quasit is its scare, so you can frighten targets. Starting combat with surprised, really useful, because you get the jump and you can make your attacks early. So once you get this, you should always start combat with the Quasit. It's better than the Imp just because it has this surprise attack, or the scare attack to frighten people. So that is really nice. I'll see if I can frighten Halston there. He saved it. But yeah, the Quasit's pretty good. So this is just the regular Quasit. And then we also, I guess I'll put the Quasit into the S tier because the Quasit's really good. But we also, start a conversation with Minsk. So what you can do is you can actually find the find familiar cheeky Quasit, and you can also summon this one in. So this one also has the 7 health. It has all the same benefits, but you can talk to it, and it's a little shovel is bored. Shovel want to murderize. So you can talk to it, and it's actually pretty hilarious. Now, the best part about the cheeky Quasit, and the reason that's better than the one on the list here from the Warlock, is because Shovel the Quasit, whenever you summon it in and you start combat, it yells, "It's fisting time!" And it also has a bunch of other funny dialogue options. So if you accidentally hit it with an attack, it says some funny stuff too. So Shovel the Quasit is better than just the regular Quasit, but I mean, at the end of the day, they do the exact same things, just the funny flair dialogue options. So yeah. Next, we'll get on to Us. So Us is kind of a familiar, but you can also summon it in too, alongside your other summons. So while it is kind of considered a summon, it's also just its own thing. It's got the spikes out of its head there. And it has some attacks that are pretty good. So it has the claw attack for 2d4 plus 2 damage. It also has the Devour Intellect, which does 2d10 psychic, consume an creature's mind. If its intelligence is below 4, it takes damage and is stunned. Otherwise, reduce intelligence by 3. And also has the Gymnastic Discharge here, which is 1d6 plus 2 psychic damage. So it's actually a pretty decent little thing here. So I think Us is great. It also has a good amount of health. It has 41 health here. So Us is also S tier, very useful. I'd probably put it, yeah, it's roughly around, it's hard to rank these in. They're all great in their own usefulness, but the nice thing about Us is you can use this really anytime. It doesn't really need, you can have your other familiar out, like I have my Shovel and I have the Us out. So Us will also pretend to be disguised as a cat if you go into town. So if we're to leave camp here, it doesn't show it whenever we're walking around, but all the people that talk about it will consider it a cat. So it pretends to be a cat, which is kind of funny. So if you see kids talking, they'll be like, "Oh, it's a kitty." I don't know if we'll be able to trigger it out here, but we have to leave in order to get the be able to summon in Scratch. So yeah, they're talking about the cat, but Scratch. So you can summon in Scratch as well. The nice thing is you can summon in Us and Scratch at the same time. These are two very strong ones. Scratch is good as boy, so obviously that gets points for that. But another thing is Scratch can actually help up down characters. So if you summon in Scratch and you have a teammate that's down, Scratch can pick them back up. So that's really nice in itself. It also has the bite attack, 1d6 plus 2. I typically don't like using Scratch because I feel bad for Scratch. I don't want him to get hurt, so I just like to keep him at camp usually. But he's a good one because he can pick up your team if they get down. So that is one of the biggest benefits of Scratch, is being able to pick up your team. So I would have to put Scratch also in the S tier. So there it is. That is my tier list ranking the best find familiars in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. There's obviously some that are really strong, but the most basic ones, obviously the bird being the best, and the rest are kind of like B to C tier. Boo, obviously it's a Minsk exclusive. Cheeky Quasit has hilarious dialogue. Us, it's just Us, it's good. Takes hits for your team, same as Scratch. Scratch can pick up your teammates, so that's quite nice. And just look at them. That's one happy crew with a Quasit, Shovel, or we got Shovel, we got us, we got Boo, we got Scratch, and we got our Beastmaster bears. So pretty cool. Again, I also have a video ranking the best Beastmaster summons, so you can check that out as well. But thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. I'll see you all in the next video.